Kemi Badenoch had one word for everything Keir Starmer did today, and that word was Soviet.
He's importing sanctioned Russian oil, he's nationalising steel, he's imposing price controls in the supermarket. It's like the Soviets won.
The chamber loved it. Her side erupted, and if you came to PMQs cold without having ever watched any of the preceding 20 minutes, you might have thought that she'd landed something. So let's watch the preceding 20 minutes. Starmer spent the session making one argument, and he made it very clearly. The reason that UK energy bills spike, the reason ordinary households get hammered every time something happens on the other side of the world, is that Britain is plugged into the international energy markets. When Iran goes up, your bill goes up. When Russia invades Ukraine, your bill goes up. The answer, he said, is taking control of that exposure. Renewables that aren't priced in Moscow or Tehran, managing the energy transition carefully and protecting consumers when global supply gets disrupted.
But families across the UK are fed up with their bills going up and down because of global contrary. The only way to take control is through renewables. Mr. Speaker, we've now consented renewables to power 23 million households. The Leader of the Opposition wants to stick with the old Tory energy policy, which is leaving households exposed to higher bills year after year.
And that's the whole argument. And it matters because Badenoch's Soviets won moment is a direct response to it, just not in the way that she thinks. Her first line of attack was the Russian oil sanctions announcement, a licence issued last night allowing imports of diesel and jet fuel refined from Russian crude in third countries. So places like India and Turkey, for example. She called it Starmer's choosing Russian oil over British oil. She said the money would fund the killing of Ukrainian soldiers.
He is now choosing to buy dirty Russian oil. That money will be used to fund the killing of Ukrainian soldiers. Isn't he ashamed?
Starmer's answer was specific. The mechanism used is a temporary licence to phase in broader new sanctions package is the same mechanism the Conservative government used when they introduced Russian sanctions.
I really think that to misunderstand and misrepresent what is happening, this is a very serious issue where we're working with others. These are new bans. They're new sanctions. They're new bans on maritime services on LNG as of yesterday. They're new bans on refined oil products from Russia as of yesterday. They are being phased in the same way that previous sanctions regimes have been phased in, exactly in the way the last government did and we have done. Other countries do exactly the same. The EU has its own way of doing it. Australia and Canada have their own way of doing it. And to play party politics on Ukraine, where we have stood firm, and the only people that benefit when we play party politics in here on Russia and Ukraine is Putin.
And he's right. The Conservatives issued general trade licences as a temporary phasing measures throughout their own sanctions rollout. There's a vessel service licence from March of 2022 that uses almost identical language. This standard practice. You don't flip a switch on a major sanctions and absorb the supply shock overnight. Not when you're trying to protect UK consumers at the same time. It's why other countries do the same thing, and it's why Labour supported it when the Conservatives did it. So Badenoch spent this session attacking a mechanism her party invented to protect consumers from supply shocks that she agrees are a problem, while calling the Prime Minister a war criminal for using it.
I know the Leader of the Opposition likes to claim responsibility for things that have got literally nothing to do with her. In her mind, she won Eurovision on Saturday and scored the winning goal in the FA Cup final. But she's never takes any responsibility for what they did for 14 long years.
Starmer told her that she hadn't done her homework, and to be fair, I think he was being charitable.
These are new sanctions putting more pressure on Russia, and I think if she'd done her homework, she'd actually support us on this.
Now, Rosebank claimed, because this one is worse.
I am asking him about new oil and gas licences, which they voted against yesterday. If they had approved those licences for Jackdaw and Rosebank like we did, we would have that oil in this country now.
No, we would not. The Conservative government approved Rosebank in September of 2023. The project's own timeline from Equinor, the Norwegian company operating it, first put production in late 2026 or early 2027. We're in May 2026. Even if Labour had maintained that approval from day one without any of the legal challenges, the oil would still not be flowing. These are subsea wells drilled 130 kilometres off the Shetland, connected by flow lines to a production vessel that has only just arrived in the field from Dubai. There is no version of that approval decision that gets you oil in May of 2026. Kemi Badenoch was Secretary of State for Business and Trade from February of 2023 to July of 2024. She was in Cabinet when Rosebank was approved. She has seen the development schedule. She stood at the dispatch box today and said something she cannot possibly believe is true. And to be fair, she should be coming back and correcting the record. And there is a second problem, which is the one Starmer had been making all session. North Sea oil is sold on international markets at international prices. Equinor's own documents note that most of Rosebank's crude would be exported to European refineries. It does not become British oil in the sense that Badenoch implies, insulated from global pricing, shielding the British households from foreign conflict. It goes into the same market that goes up when Iran goes to war. The thing that she's demanding as a solution to the exact problem that she's attacking Starmer over would not solve it. And she knows this. She was the business secretary. So back to the Soviets. 3 things. The Russian oil sanctions, a phasing mechanism for a new, tougher package used by our own government for the same purpose, to protect UK consumers from the supply disruption during a foreign conflict, Soviet. Not drilling Rosebank, which wouldn't produce oil for months at a minimum and which would sell on international markets at international prices and do nothing to shield households from the spikes Badenoch spent the session complaining about, Soviet. Voluntary supermarket price freezes, asking retailers nicely to hold prices while families are struggling with the cost of living, Soviet.
I just listen to him, and I wonder if he is okay. He is so deep in the bunker, Mr. Speaker. He's importing sanctioned Russian oil. He's nationalising steel. He's imposing price controls in the supermarket. It's like the Soviets won. This country needs a government that has got its act together, Mr. Speaker.
These 3 things designed in different ways to do the thing that Starmer spent the entire session explaining needed doing, protecting ordinary people from a market that will cheerfully destroy their finances every time something goes wrong somewhere else. And Badenoch's position, crystallised in that one word, is that doing those things is totalitarianism. That markets should be left to do whatever it pleases to people's bills. That asking Tesco to hold the price of a chicken is just one step from the gulag. That's not PMQs attack, that's a statement of political faith, and it explains quite a lot about what 14 years of Conservative government actually delivered. Starmer ended on an Arsenal winning the Premier League, which got a laugh, and fair enough. The seriousness version of the same point is that it came before it.
Last week, the ONS announced we got the fastest growing economy in the G7. Last week, we had the biggest fall in NHS waiting lists for 17 years. Today, inflation's come down more than expected. And, Mr. Speaker, if you'd offered me that and Arsenal becoming Premier League champions, I'd take it every day of the week.
Badenoch's answer to all of it was to call him a Soviet. You could decide from them which one sounds more likely that they've got a plan for the country.